Okay, so I'm going to try to do this in one take because I'm lazy. So today I'm going to be talking about Easter Rising in Ireland. So let's begin. Easter Monday, April 1916, a group of Irish nationalists proclaimed the establishment of the Irish Republic and along with some 1,600 followers staged a rebellion against the British government. The rebels seized buildings in Dublin and clashed with British troops. Within a week, the insurrection had become suppressed, and more than 2,000 people were dead or injured. The leaders of the rebellion soon were executed. Intentionally, there was little support from the Irish people for the Easter Rising. However, public opinion later shifted to the executed leaders were hailed as martyrs in 1921. A treaty was signed in 1922, established the Irish Free State, which eventually became the modern-day Republic of Ireland. Sorry if that was bad, because I know I messed up some of the words there. Did you know that after the Easter Rising, one of the rebels, Americans born... I cannot pronounce this word, so I'm not even going to try. Okay, fine, I will. Eamon de Valera was sentenced to death. However, he ended up serving only a brief prison term and went on to become one of the Ireland's leading political figures, with a career spanning half a century. Some moderate nationalists advocated for home rule, under which Ireland would remain part of the United Kingdom, but also have some form of self-government. Several home rule bills were defeated in Parliament in the late 1800s before one finally passed in 1914. However, implementations of home rule was suspended due to outbreak of World War I, 1914 to 1918. Meanwhile, members of a secret revolution organized called the Irish Republican Brotherhood, who believed home rule wouldn't go far enough and instead sought complete independence for Ireland, began planning what would become the Easter Rising. They hoped their rebellion would be aided by military support from the government, which was fighting the British in World War I. Roger Katzman, Irish nationalist, arranged for a shipment of German arms and ammunition for the rebels. However, shortly before the insurrection began, the British detected the ship and it was captured. Captain Casement was charged for treason and executed in August 1916. Easter Rising was intended to take place across Ireland. However, various circumstances resulted in it being carried out primarily in Dublin on April 24th, 1916. The rebel leaders and their followers, who numbered from 1,600 people over the course of the insurrection, and many of whom were members of a nationalist organization called the Irish Volunteers, and a small radical militia group of the Irish Citizens' Army, seized the city's general post office and the other strategic location early that afternoon from the steps to the post office. Patrick Pearse, one of the uprising's leaders, led a proclamation declaring Ireland an independent republic, and started that I'm going to try to pronounce this. It's going to be really bad. Provisional government comprised of the Irish Brotherhood. Had been appointed. Despite the rebels' hopes, the Republic did not rise to support them. The British government soon declared martial law in Ireland, and in less than a week, the rebels were crushed by the government's forces sent against them. Some 450 people were killed, and more than 2,000 others, many of them civilians, were wounded in the violence, which also destroyed much of Dublin city center. Initially, many Irish people resented the rebels for their destruction and death caused by the uprising. However, in May 15th, leaders of the uprisings were executed by a firing squad. More than 3,000 people suspected of supporting the uprising directly and indirectly were arrested, and some 1,800 were sent to England and imprisoned there without trial. The Rust executions, mass arrests, and martial law, which remained in effect through the fall of 1916, fueled public resentment towards the British and were among the factors that helped build support for the rebels and the government government for Irish independence. In 1918 general election for the Parliament of the United Kingdom, the Sinn Féin political party, whose goal was to establish a republic, won a majority of the Irish seats. The Sinn Féin members then refused to sit in the UK Parliament, and in January 1919 met in Dublin to convene a single chamber parliament and declare Ireland's independence. The Irish Republican Army then launched a guerrilla war against the British government and its forces in Ireland. Following a July 1921 ceasefire, the two sides signed a treaty in December that called for the establishment of the Irish Free State, a self-governing nation of the British Commonwealth, the following year. Ireland's 6 northern countries opted out of the Free State.
せーのでもそんなんじゃダメもうそんなんじゃほら心は進化